Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, day 3 of the 5-day Balance and Burn Challenge. Yesterday we talked all things circadian rhythm. And as I mentioned yesterday, it's typically something that people kind of just skip over or actually don't even know what it's all about. But it's so incredibly important, and just a few minutes a day, beginning of your day, end of your day, can make a huge difference when it comes to balancing your hormones and just feeling better overall. But today, I want to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes that women make when it comes to workouts, to exercise, movement, that sort of thing. So if you are with me here live, hashtag I'm here to let me know that you're here watching live. And if you do watch the replay, you can hashtag replay. So, ladies, what do we think are the 3 biggest mistakes that women make when it comes to workouts? It is warm in my office today. I gotta crack a window open. 3 biggest mistakes. I'd love to see it in the comments. And there's no bad answers, trust me. These are the 3 biggest mistakes that I think, just in all of the years that I've been in this industry, which has been many, over 20, this is what I see quite often when it comes to workout mistakes. And I'm gonna dive in. First one, and I'm sure many of you will guess this, is excessive cardio. I'm talking spin classes, running, boot camps, which is a form of cardio, anything that you're not allowing your body much time to rest. You are chasing the calorie burn, you're chasing the sweat. You think of a good workout as something that makes you sweat like crazy, which isn't an indication of a good workout. The thing is with cardio is your body adapts to it really quickly. And I'll just use running as an example. But in order to see results or continue to see results, if the goal is fat loss, which a lot of our goals as women is fat loss, you will need to start running further and faster in order to continue to see results. Your body adapts really quickly. And what ends up happening is that you don't necessarily burn body fat when you're doing cardio. You can also be burning precious muscle. And that's the one thing, ladies, especially in your mid to late 30s onwards into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you want to do everything in your power to hold on to muscle. It is the one thing on our body that prevents aging. And so what ends up happening with just consistent cardio without strength training, you're actually utilizing a lot of your muscle as energy. So what I end up seeing over time is that you just become a smaller, still fluffy or flabby or whatever word you want to use to describe yourself, but you just become a smaller version of yourself. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a toned, lean, tighter body. And I think that when most of us visualize what we physically want to look like, it's to look great naked, for sure, to look great in clothes, but to not have, like loose arms and like a flabby stomach, but to see some lines, to feel tight, to feel toned. And you might not be agreeing with me, and that's completely okay. And I don't have anything against like cardio. It has its time, its place. It is fantastic for stress relief. It is great for heart health, great for your cardiovascular system. But if that is the only thing that you are doing in hopes of achieving your aesthetic / physical goals, then I hate to break it to you, but you're not going to build that dream body by doing cardio. Number 2 mistake that women make when it comes to workouts is just randomly doing workouts, not following a program. You go on YouTube or you follow your favorite influencer. Some fitness classes might be that way, where you're constantly doing different things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go and do these things once again. If your goal is just to get moving, it makes you feel good, you like the social aspect of going to classes, you like the accountability of going to classes, then that's okay. It typically works in the beginning. I'm not saying these things don't get you results, but over time, because I've been doing this I've been strength training for over 30 years, because I started when I was like 9/10 years old, when I started running track. And I've done it all, but over the years, the one thing that's been consistent in my life in terms of exercise is strength training. And the thing with these random workouts, these classes, boot camps, F45, Orange Theory, they often lead to overtraining. And it's similar to what I said with the cardio. A lot of cardio, a lot of these intense classes will actually elevate your cortisol. And I know in this day and age, we don't need more cortisol. We definitely don't. We already have so much on our plate. So training strategically is so important. And I've also heard, okay, well, if I have high cortisol, should I be strength training? Like, that's a stressor. Well, any exercise is a stressor. But strategic strength training can actually build resilience to stressors. And so ways to be more strategic with your strength training is, one, to follow a program, is to make sure you're leaving lots of time in between your sets. A lot of these classes are just like go, 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 supersets. You don't stop. You're doing jump squats in between your shoulder presses. And you're left like completely depleted. And the thing is, your workouts, you should feel great after your workouts. Yeah, you should feel, a little fatigued, like you just did something, obviously. But you shouldn't be dragging your ass, excuse my language, after you have done a workout. Like I said earlier, pushing to the point where you're like sweating like crazy, you're like red in the face, you just don't feel good, you feel nauseous, lightheaded after a workout, that's not a good thing. So coming back to the mistakes, mistake number 1, excessive cardio. Mistake number 2 is just doing random workouts. And number 3, what do we think number 3 is? And you may have already said this in the comments, but I can't see the comments, unfortunately, when I'm live, is you're just not lifting heavy enough. You're not challenging your body with something called progressive overload. over time, and this is the whole point of working out, like I said, strategic weight training. And of course, somebody just fired up their lawnmower. The whole point of exercise, strength training, is to see yourself get stronger. And as women, we do not have the hormones. We do not have enough testosterone circulating in our body to build these big, bulky muscles. Like it just doesn't happen. So if you have this limiting belief in your head that, I just don't want to lift heavy weights because I don't want to get big and bulky, it does not happen. Like I said to you, I've been training for well over 30 years, and I do not shy away from lifting heavy weights. And if you know me on a personal level or you've seen me, I'm not a very big person. I'm tall for sure, but I don't have these big, bulky muscles. We have to train like we want to get big and bulky, but that's not going to happen. What we're actually going to achieve is this lean, toned, strong, tight, athletic, I guess you could say, if that's the look that you are going for. Muscle is so important because that's the one thing that is going to increase your metabolism. And as I mentioned, like in and around mid-30s, we unfortunately start to lose precious muscle. And we have to do everything in our power to maintain and even build. It is possible to build muscle as you age. And if you've been on social media, you've probably seen some reels or TikToks or videos or posts or whatever of women that are in like their 60s and 70s doing amazing things, and they look so good. They look so strong. And the way that they did that is by strength training. It's not by doing excessive cardio, spin classes, running upstairs, the Stairmaster, that sort of thing. It is picking up heavy things and putting them down. So to wrap things up here, just taking a quick peek at my notes. Ultimately, you want to do the same program for minimum 6 weeks. I will do the same program upwards of 12 weeks. The same program. And then I'll hear people say, oh, but I get bored. But do you get bored of the results that you get from following a program? And some of you might say, well, I don't know because I've never done that. Yet you don't have the body that you want. Doing the same exercises and getting so good at those exercises is how you end up transforming your body. And during that time, you have the opportunity to do more reps, to lift heavier, obviously focus on your form. You can slow down the tempo at which you're doing the exercises. You can play around with the rest in between your exercises. These are all methods of progressive overload. And some of you might be like, whew, Danielle, like this is all going over my head. And that's okay. I can guide you in all of this. That's what I do, right? I'm a coach. This is what I lead women through, is teaching you all of these things. And this is a very compact challenge this week. You're getting a ton of information in 5 days, or you will be getting a ton of information in 5 days. And you don't have to have it all figured out. But of course, if you can pull bits and pieces here from these lives, that's exactly what I want to have happen. But 6 to 12 weeks, the same program. Walking, so darn underrated. At this point in time, I'm not doing any cardio. No running, no stairs, no spinning. I'm strictly walking and strength training 3 days a week, and I do yoga throughout 2 to 3 times a week. And that's what I am doing to balance my hormones, to decrease cortisol, make sure my recovery is good, my sleep is good, my mood is good, because you can overtrain. You can do too much in an attempt to achieve this ideal body of yours and end up in a situation where you are inflamed, actually gaining body fat because your body is so stressed out, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow. And you become frustrated, like this isn't working, right? There's different approaches, and what you did in your 20s and 30s is not what you should be doing in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Our body, it goes through a lot. We can't keep doing the same thing and pushing ourselves like crazy and expect a different result. And I found this out, I guess it would be about three years ago now. I think it was in, maybe even 2021, 2022, where I was doing all the things. This is in and around that time where we went through something called COVID. Seems like a lifetime ago. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like exercising like crazy. Everything you could possibly imagine. I didn't stop. I also wasn't eating right. I also was drinking a lot of alcohol. And my body, I'll actually share a picture under this video once I'm done here, but my body ended up, and it didn't look bad to most people, but I swelled up. I was so inflamed. I kept putting on weight on the scale. I was like, what is happening here? And I then reached a state of burnout. This is when a bunch of like health issues ended up hitting me, hormone imbalances, insomnia like crazy. My hair was falling out. I felt like my skin was crawling. It wasn't a fun time. I could cry at the drop of a hat. Rob would ask me how my day was, and I would just like start crying. I'm like, what is happening here? And I had just reached this complete state of burnout. So I will wrap it up there. If you have any other questions when it comes to this topic, you know the drill. You can drop them in the comments below here or post them in the group chat. And I will be doing a live Q&A on Friday. So tomorrow, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask questions that you want me to verbally answer, but I just want to give you a little heads up for you to think of questions that you may want to ask me, because Friday is going to be all about Q&A and answering your questions. So hopefully you got some value. If, like I said, if you have any other questions, you know what to do. Enjoy the rest of your day.